My name is Anita Prescott. I have been working in financial services most of my life. And so, as you well can appreciate, that involves a lot of office work, desk work, and I ended up having extremely tight hamstrings as a result of being in such a sedentary position. Despite the fact that I tried many things over the years to release the hamstrings and release the pain in my lower back, nothing seemed to be helping until I found block therapy. It really was the difference for me. The hip pain is what caused me the most difficulty, it seemed, because it would limit my joy of walking. There was a lot of activities that I enjoyed doing. However, as the hip pain became more pronounced, I was enjoying those activities less. So walking became shorter walks and more painful ones. Bicycle riding was also very difficult. Although less stressful on the hip, it was still difficult to do bicycle riding. And just general enjoyment of life, going climbing stairs, playing with children, and just doing all kinds of things like that. So it was the referred pain seemed to go into many areas of my body, and it was just progressively becoming more and more complex to have a good quality of life, which is an important component for me because I would like to continue to enjoy a good long life. So getting healthy and getting flexible and getting operating at a higher level became critical for me. The improvement that I experienced on the 90-day challenge, although I started with a very specific goal, was from head to toe. I could never have imagined the revitalization of my body that took place within those 90 days. From the tips of my toes right to the top of my head, it's remarkable. And my whole body just felt so much more flexible and comfortable. The way in which I sat, the way in which I stood and walked just changed so much that it was like turning back the clock, and I don't even dare say how many years, but it was turning it back a decade or two. So it was just phenomenal, the changes that took place. At the very beginning, I was always under the impression that it was my hamstrings that was causing all the related problems in my hip, in my back and lower back, and all of that was just continually radiating out. As a result of the 90-day challenge, though, I was able to come to understand, with Deanna's help, that the crux of my problem was actually in my feet, and what Deanna calls a flat tire. I had a flat tire on one leg, and so that meant that my ankle was not in its proper position. It was actually tilting in. So a flat tire could be tilting in or tilting outwards. In my case, it was tilting in, and so the very first class that had to do with feet was extraordinary. Then throughout the first week when we were working on foundation, we also worked on calves, and I had no idea how tight my calves were until that work began. And as the weeks progressed, the foundation, which helped very much with that flat tire at my ankle, continued to work up the body, so that eventually, after the first cycle we were done, I could actually see an improvement in the positioning of that ankle. It wasn't, did not fully correct itself, but enough to say that there was a significant improvement, which then helped all the other parts of my body that was aching. So my lower back pain was reduced, and the hip pain persisted for quite a while, but it eventually subsided towards the end of the 90 days. So that was a real game changer in terms of what can be accomplished in the 90 days. To have the alignment correction from head to toe made such a difference in my life in terms of the comfort of gait with which I could walk, and so that I was able to walk further and certainly walk better, which is probably a good indicator of longevity, because then everything is walking more like a well-oiled machine as opposed to a rickety old tractor. And ease with which I could climb the stairs, and just just all kinds of everyday things just became so much more fluid. In terms of how I felt, probably the most significant change for me was how my clothes would fit on my body before the 90-day challenge and how they fit on my body after the 90-day challenge. It seemed as though everything was just fitting so much better, and things were sitting on my shoulders properly, they were hanging properly, everything just seemed to be in sync, if you will, and I was able to put on clothes that I had not been able to wear before, not so much because I lost weight, but just because of repositioning everything that was in my body. So what had been tight fascia had been replaced with air and space, which is what it's supposed to be, and returned to its proper place. So that's why my clothes were filling out better than they had been before. Block therapy is unique because they're short classes. They're mostly 30-minute classes, which makes it very easy to fit into a day. The block has a way of getting into those crevices in the body where the pain is and where the adhesions are, to release it. And again, it puts the power back into my own hands to be able to know how far to push and how to release those things. So essentially, it's truly an empowering practice to allow us to do this kind of work. And it's truly an amazing gift that Deanna shares with the world so willingly, to put that knowledge and that skill in the video so that we can all benefit.